Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. From exciting breakthrough in cell communication to novel hydrogels, much has transpired during the past week in the world of science. We'll tell you all of that, but let us begin with the headlines. How do cells talk? Scientists decipher novel clues to cell communication. Save the Children's 16th report sheds new light on infant and child mortality. Novel gel using click chemistry. Indian origin team offers new hope for biomedical research. India now to be a part of CERN, second from Asia to become an associate member. And in our In Focus segment today, we will discuss about e-waste and its management. And now news in details. Cells live, grow, and what is more, they talk. However, the mechanism of how cells communicate within themselves and external environment has always been a mystery that has baffled the scientists. Now, a new study by a team of Indian researchers provides important clues to this mechanism. Take a look.
As experts would say, living cells are little fortresses in themselves, defended by a strong fence, the cell membrane. The cell membrane is made up of a fluid bilayer consisting of lipids and proteins. While this much has always been known, that in order to survive, cells import and export substances inside and outside the cell, the intricacies of this cellular communication was not known until now. Now, in a breakthrough study, a group of researchers under the guidance of Dr. Satyajit Mayer, along with Dr. Madan Rao and their teams at the National Centre for Biological Sciences and Dr. Ram Vishwakarma from IIIM, Jammu and Dr. Zongwoo Gou of Wayne State University have deciphered the mechanism used by cells to communicate within and outside the cell. Experimenting on living cells, the researchers have identified an important type of lipid called phosphatidylserine and long saturated chain containing lipids, which are essential for cellular transport.
The methods that we used were basically two. One was by masking the lipid using proteins that interact with the lipid and hence prevent them from engaging in further function, and the other was perturbing the levels of lipid inside the cell using cells that are mutant in the synthesis of phosphatidylserine. So by using these two sort of approaches, we were able to identify the key role of PS in creating the cluster of lipids at the outer leaflet of the membrane.
We have been trying to look at the whole phenomena through by doing simulations, molecular dynamic simulations at an atomistic level, to understand how information from the outside can travel inside. And it turned out that one of the molecules that was engaged in this process was PS. This information came from the experiments, and then we tried to mimic what we believed was the nature of the bilayer in order to understand the sort of microscopic and physical details about how this coupling between the outside lipids and the inside lipids could happen.
The PS essentially forms the connecting bridge between lipids on the inner and outer side of the membrane and facilitates communication. The team has also used a multidisciplinary approach to study these membrane lipids and their transport mechanism at nanoscale. It was found that phosphatidylserine forms nanoscale lipid rafts, which makes communication between components of the outer and inner layer of the membrane possible. The study is believed to have a large scope in deciphering the underlying mechanism of many diseases that affect cell signaling and track the progression of prion diseases, many viral infections and several cardiovascular diseases, or those that are caused by alteration in lipid balance such as diabetes. The study has been published online in the journal Cell.
The Urban Disadvantage, the 16th annual State of the World's Mothers Report by Save the Children's Initiative, was recently launched in Delhi. The report has shed light on the poor quality of life of mothers and children in the country. More in this report.
In the past decades, India has achieved much in terms of reducing infant and maternal mortality rate in the country. Thanks to the advanced healthcare systems and global policies, the under-5 mortality rate across the globe came down by half between 1990 and 2013. Much progress has also been made in India by achieving a decline of 54.4%. However, it is estimated that despite all the healthcare facilities available, over 760,000 children die in India every year, and many of these deaths are due to preventable causes. In a country like India, where economic divide plays a major role in access to basic facilities and healthcare, it has been observed that millions of mothers and children living in cities lack access to essential health services and clean water. The quality of life of mothers and children is worst in urban slums of Delhi, where large rural populations migrate in search of better life prospects. In the age group of 0 to 5 years, the urban poor are 3.2 times more likely to die as compared to the urban rich. Such stark health inequity between the rich and the poor. This and much more forms the focus of the 16th annual report on the state of the world's mothers, titled The Urban Disadvantage by the Save Children Initiative. The report, that was recently released at Delhi by the Union Minister for Minority Affairs, Najma Heptullah, examines the causes of survival divide between wealthy and poor urban children. The report assesses the key factors, namely risk of maternal death, under-5 mortality rate, educational status, economic achievement, and political status, to propose new methods to tackle the issue of infant and mother health.
From contact lenses to drug delivery, hydrogels find large-scale applications in biomedical research. However, as a result of the limitations of the present synthesis process, the hydrogels available today are not truly biocompatible. Offering a new hope in this context, researchers have now developed the first truly biocompatible gel using techniques of click chemistry. Take a look.
Hydrogels, special polymers that can absorb water, are flexible and allow oxygen to pass through. Because of their close resemblance with human tissues and ability to be tuned to different shapes with varied physical and chemical properties, hydrogels are largely used in therapeutic interventions and biomedical research. In this context, alginate hydrogels, derived from naturally occurring brown seaweed, are of special interest to researchers. Alginate hydrogels find applications in drug delivery systems, tissue regeneration, stimulation of blood vessel formation, and bone and cartilage repair, among others. But the alginate hydrogels which are presently available are not truly biocompatible, as the reagents used to make the alginate hydrogels often react with the cells and molecules. To overcome this limitation, Indian origin scientists Dr. Neil Joshi and Dr. Rajiv Desai from the Viz Institute, in collaboration with their colleague Dr. Mooney, have developed the first truly biocompatible alginate hydrogel. The team has used techniques of click chemistry that involves quick and practical synthesis of substances using just a few reliable selective reagents. The biocompatible click alginate gels are formed using chemical cross-linking strategies that overcome the limitation of unintended chemical reactions. As a result, cells and molecules which come in contact with the gel are not damaged or rendered inactive. This novel form of biocompatible alginate hydrogel is robust, can be used in a variety of ways, and provides stable functioning. The hydrogel offers the promise of speeding up research and development of several promising applications in tissue engineering.
accelerating research in the area of nuclear and particle physics, India will now join CERN. According to reports, the central government has approved India's associate membership to CERN. With this, India becomes the second Asian country to join CERN's research and will have the privilege to attend open and restricted sessions at CERN.
India will no longer be an observer in the CERN experiments, for it has now been made official that India will become a member of CERN. With the central government approving India's associate membership to CERN, India has become Asia's second country to join the European organization dedicated to nuclear research after Pakistan. India will be paying approximately $11 million annually for the membership. It is estimated that it will take almost a year to complete the formalities by the CERN Council. The world's largest particle physics lab, CERN, was founded in 1954 in Geneva. With the aim to utilize the high-end infrastructure for high-energy physics research, researchers across the globe collaborate at CERN to work on various large-scale nuclear research-based experiments, the recent being mimicking the Big Bang and exploring dark universe. The organization has 21 European member states, and Israel was the first non-European country to receive full CERN membership. CERN, which houses the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator, the Large Hadron Collider, is famous for its discovery of Higgs boson particle along with W and Z bosons, isolation of 38 atoms of antihydrogen, and implementation of world's first World Wide Web. The new membership will permit India to attend open and restricted sessions at CERN. India's membership throws open new avenues and opportunities for the country's scientists in the area of nuclear and particle physics research.
All right, we'll take a very short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our segment Science Express.
In a major step towards making healthcare affordable and accessible, a health fair called Heritage and Health Mela was organized at Basholi town of Jammu's Kathua district recently. The fair, which was arranged by India's National Health Mission, Jammu Wing, comprised a 3-day medical camp in which 100 doctors, including pediatricians and neurologists, volunteered.
हमारा ये था कि हम 3000 करेंगे ताकि हम एक बच्चे को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टाइम दे सकें और हमारे से कोई बच्चा ऐसा छूट ना जाए जिसमें कोई डिजीज़, डेफिशिएंसी या डिसऑर्डर हो। तो अब ये देखकर अभी इनका रश देख के हमें लगता है कि बच्चों को अब खुद भी पता चला है, स्कूल ने जो भेजे हैं वो तो ठीक है, उसके अलावा भी कुछ बच्चों को पता लगा वो भी आगे हैं। तो हमारा ये रहेगा अगर हमें 4 दिन भी यहाँ करना पड़ेगा, 5 दिन भी करेंगे हम, पर ये बच्चे सारे देख के जाएंगे। ये एक बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट हो जाएगी। जो टीम सारा साल घूम कर स्कूलों में, सारा साल घूम कर आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर्स में जाती थी, आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर्स में जाती थी, अब वो एक ही जगह बैठकर सारी टीम्स यहीं बैठी हैं।
Around 3,000 children attended the health fair and underwent free medical checkup. As a part of the campaign, children also availed free treatment along with medicines. Yang, a humanoid robot with a variety of realistic expressions, was the major attraction of the Global Mobile Internet Conference that recently concluded in Beijing. The humanoid robot named Yang has been developed by Shanghai Shengqing Industry and is modeled after one of the company's researchers, Song Yang. The remote-controlled robot can blink, smile, shake hands, and even hug her human counterpart. The robot is planned to be used as future sales assistants or body doubles for celebrities. With the aim of strengthening India's air defense systems, the Indian Army on 5th May inducted the Akash missile system into its arsenal. Developed indigenously by the Defense Research Development Organization, The Akash missile system is a surface-to-air short-range defense system that operates up to a maximum range of 25 kilometers and up to an altitude of 20 kilometers.
It is a matter of great pride for the nation that today indigenous state-of-the-art Akash air defense weapon system is being dedicated to the Indian Army and to the nation. In fact, it marks beginning of a new era for Indian Army and Army air defense towards modernization.
The missile system is capable of detecting aerial threats from enemies' fighter planes, helicopters, drones and unmanned aerial vehicles. It can also evaluate and track danger along with multiple threats simultaneously and is capable of launching missiles based on the information obtained by the radar system. Fight encephalitis and clean India, beautiful India was the slogan that hundreds of students sported on their banners and placards as they took to the streets to spread public awareness on encephalitis. The rally commemorated the encephalitis outbreak in Gorakhpur in 2005 and was aimed at spreading awareness regarding the need of hygiene and using clean water to prevent encephalitis.
सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत पड़ रही थी कि जो एईएस जो गंदगी के कारण जो पानी के अशुद्धता के कारण सबसे बड़ा उसका रोल है उससे कैसे दूर किया जाए, कैसे हम लोग बताएं लोगों को कि शुद्ध पेयजल ही यूज करें। इसके लिए ये महसूस हुआ कि एक जागरूकता सप्ताह मनाया जाए।
The event was organized by college and school students of Gorakhpur district in Uttar Pradesh on May 6th. District administration officials also took part in the march. In order to facilitate enhanced levels of private sector participation and offering more commercial opportunities, the Indian Space Research Organisation has initiated a process of formulating a National Space Act for India for regulating space activities in India. The draft of the space rules has already been prepared in consultation with experts and aligns with India's adherence to international policies for regulation of space activities. ISRO is presently implementing the Space Debris Mitigation Guidelines endorsed by the United Nations in design and operation of all its space systems. ISRO is also actively participating with various international forums for conducting relative analysis of new techniques for debris removal.
Discarded mobiles, outdated keyboards and monitors, broken headphones. There seems to be no end to such electronic waste. The growing piles of e-waste in our dump yards poses a huge menace to environment and also human health. From poisoning of air and water to severe forms of cancers, e-waste can be the cause of all. What actually consists of e-waste and how do we manage it? Well, this will be the focus of our discussion in our segment In Focus.
From computers to mobile phones and gazillion of other gadgets designed to make our lives easier, the world is today an e-village. But have you ever wondered, as the number of electronic gadgets increases worldwide, what happens to the discarded electrical or electronic devices? As we irresponsibly get rid of our broken mobiles and outdated computer screens, our cities are rapidly turning into large dump yards of electronic waste. Management of this electronic waste has become the utmost necessity of the hour. But before that, we need to understand what these are. Electronic waste, shortly known as e-waste, refers to used and disposed electronic devices. These may include discarded computers and parts of computers, office electronic equipment, entertainment device electronics, mobile phones, television sets, refrigerators, headphones and so on. According to estimates, more than 50 million tons of e-waste is produced each year across the globe. The report on e-waste in India states that 0.573 million ton e-waste is generated in India per day, with 10 states contributing to 70% of the total e-waste generated in the country, and Maharashtra ranking first among them. What can the e-waste that include harmless TV and computer screens and mobile phones possibly do? Could be your next question. Did you know that the cathode ray tubes found in TV and computers, the printed circuit boards, chips, plastic components and wires are huge sources of many harmful halogenated compounds, chlorofluorocarbons and polyvinyl chlorides, along with carcinogens, hazardous heavy metals and radioactive materials. While the heavy metals like arsenic and cadmium present in the e-waste can cause acute poisoning with serious effects on vital organs like kidney and central nervous system, substances like cadmium, mercury, sulfur fumes, lead, barium and beryllium leads to damage of organs in the body, along with causing deficits in fertility, cognition, learning, behavior and neuromotor skills.
India is generating more than 1 million of tons of waste every year of electronic waste, and electronic waste is the fastest growing stream in the country right now of waste. So what is being done is right now the informal sector is recycling the waste, and they are doing it in a way using rudimentary methods and with lack of sophisticated equipment and without any know-how to recycle the equipment. E-waste has a lot of harmful substances in it, like cadmium, mercury, lead, and simply landfilling or dumping this waste is not an option, as it is really hazardous for the environment, because you run the risk of this hazardous materials seeping into the groundwater supply through landfills. Open air incineration of electronic waste, which is what is being done in the informal sector, is really harmful, as it emits toxic gases and a lot of polluting gases which are really harmful for the lungs and for the environment.
There is also evidence of cytotoxic and genotoxic effects of some chemicals, which are known to cause DNA damage and result in various types of cancer in humans. Most of the e-wastes are not biodegradable. Result, these wastes remains as such for years, releasing harmful and deadly chemicals into atmosphere. Liquid and atmospheric releases like airborne dioxins, carcinogens and heavy metals end up in bodies of water, groundwater, soil and air, and therefore in land and sea animals, both domesticated and wild, in crops eaten by both animals and human, and in drinking water. Concerned about the dangerous challenges posed by e-waste, governments across the world are working towards effective management of e-waste. E-Parisara Private Limited, India's first government-authorized electronic waste recycler, is a good example in this context. Today, E-Parisara and many such initiatives are working towards reducing the accumulation of used and discarded electronics and electrical equipments. The government recently also released the draft of E-Waste Rules 2015, which has broadened the scope of the existing rules by including several major provisions.
In 2011, the government passed the management and handling rules to tackle this e-waste problem, which came into effect on 1st May 2012. What this does is basically, this mandates every producer of electronic waste, be it a bulk consumer or manufacturers, to dispose their waste only through government authorized recyclers and in an environment friendly way. So these are the first steps that the government has taken, and much work is being done right now on electronic waste and how to tackle this problem by the government. But this is still a nascent industry and a lot needs to be done to address the issue. The government has made it difficult for the unauthorized or informal kabadiwalas to operate and do business, as it has stopped the channel of waste from coming into their hands.
In today's age of rapidly increasing e-waste, recycle and reuse is the key mantra. Let us see what can we as citizens do to reduce the generation of e-waste. Buy less. Not buying fancy gadgets we do not need might be the biggest solution to tackle e-waste problem. While buying electronic products, opt for those that are made with fewer toxic constituents, use recycled content, are energy efficient, are designed for easy upgrading or disassembly, utilize minimal packaging, offer leasing or take-back options, have been certified by regulatory authorities. Customers should opt for upgrading their computers or other electronic items to the latest versions rather than buying new equipment. Donate a piece of equipment you do not need instead of discarding so that someone else can use it. If you're making a new purchase at a store, ask the store if they will buy back your old camera, laptop or any other electronic item. Today, with facilities like Google Drive and Dropbox, we no longer need physical equipments like CDs and pen drives to store and back up data. Organize your electronic gadgets so that you are aware of what you possess before you make a purchase. Follow the discard instructions of electronic gadgets carefully. E-waste is a huge market today. Finding more about the local options and markets that recycle e-waste is a great way to manage the same. And last but not the least, educate yourself and be a little afraid. Most electronic gadgets have toxic materials in them, so it is extremely important to dispose of them in the right way. Make sure to educate yourself, your kids and your neighbors about this. Discovering all the toxins in electronics will push you to be more mindful of e-waste.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us, how do you like our program? You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV and think scientific.